I think the first time I've ever said "Yo, why" to God
Yeah.
was when I realized when being young is it's hard to understand these
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
But long story short,
Mm-hmm.
my me and my family at a young age, I was an adolescent, so I was about age 10, 11, 12. So about age 10 to about 15, 16,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
we were in the homeless shelter system.
Okay.
So we was in a shelter system in New York City
Mm.
for about 5 years.
Okay. Yo, welcome to my boy Brenden Sanchez to the pod. How you doing, bro?
What's going on? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
All right, so first things first. Where you
Okay.
from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, baby.
But where you from? You
What
know what
you
I'm
mean?
saying? Like.
Like my parents, like
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my
like
ethnicity.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
Puerto
yeah.
Rican.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how is it growing up Puerto Rican in New York?
There's a lot of Puerto Ricans in New York. There is. Well, when I say a lot of Puerto Ricans, there are different types of Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, yeah. So what types of Puerto Ricans are you talking about?
I am I'm a Brooklyn New Yorican.
Okay, I've
It's a
heard
little
before.
bit different. If it's a little bit of a different experience,
Yeah, yeah,
than some other Puerto Ricans. I mean, Puerto Rican is just one of those like ethnicities where like everybody looks different. Like
Okay.
there's no like
yeah,
Puerto
yeah,
Rican look.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
like for
yeah.
Dominicans, like there's no like Dominican look. Like you
Yeah, for
can't
sure.
look at somebody and be like, they're Puerto Rican or they're Dominican. It's just like, you
Thing
know,
is, I've been told I like Dominican.
yeah.
Because I'm like darker skinned. I don't know, like my hair. I don't know, but like no, I'm just black.
I,
I'm
I
just
was
black.
told I look Dominican as well. Just because some people are used to very light skinned
Yeah, yeah.
Dominicans.
Mm-hmm.
No. A lot of people are used to certain features in Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
Sort of like, just I don't know how to explain it, but I
Yeah.
mean,
No. Yeah.
my family's they look. My mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family looks completely different,
Okay.
and I'm the mix of both. So
Okay.
I get like sometimes I get called Dominican because my dad's side of the family they get called Dominican because they got darker skin, their hair texture's different.
Yeah.
So I got some of their some of the features as far as like facial, but my mom's skin complexion.
How about the beard? Did beards run in the family?
The bit, yeah,
Same. Yeah.
yeah, for sure,
Beard gang all day. Beards are
all day.
people are like yo. I'm like yo, grow it out. And now I
Top
don't want it.
tier.
I'm like bro, beards are
Top tier, baby.
the top tier. They're elite. If you have a nice, it's elite. It's elite. So, what is like one of your fondest memories from growing up in Brooklyn?
I don't know about fond.
Yeah, but whatever it's
Um,
like that, like
I think some of the best memories was going to the movies with my mom on Easter,
Mm-hmm.
special home cooked meals when my mom was able to afford
Yeah.
certain like meats or like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's another like those are like fond memories. Like for my birthday, like she would like go all out and like save money and like get like a little lobster tail for me
Yeah.
and like some
Yeah,
shrimp and
that's
like
tough.
really just like cook it. So that's like a fond memory. Um, a lot of fond memories have to do with my mom taking me somewhere, even if it's just to the circus or Chuck E. Cheese, and maybe it's not that long because it wasn't enough money to like stay there for super
Yeah.
hours. But
Mm-hmm.
I think those are some of my fondest memories. Going to church with my mom.
For sure.
I was raised in church. Uh, yeah. Off the top, those are like fond memories.
The main ones, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's always the simple stuff. It's always
Yeah.
the little stuff.
Gotta be because I feel like I think last time my friends like life has become so big we forget about the things that actually like matter. Like we live life, but we don't really like live and cherish certain things about life. So
Yeah.
I agree. So how long have you been a Christian for? Would you say, like, legit, like I'm following Jesus?
Like the sinner's prayer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I was 6 years old, I
6.
gave my life to God.
Okay.
And like we were talking about earlier,
Early, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you give your life to God at a young age, and yeah, your salvation is not invalid just
Mhm.
because you don't know much about life. You are old enough to make a decision that, hey, I want to follow Christ. At a young age, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, that counts.
Mhm.
I was baptized at 7 or 8, one of those ages.
Yeah.
So yes, that counts. However, you don't really you don't really know what it is to truly follow God until calamity
Mm.
enters your life.
Yeah, yeah.
But in lamest terms, yes, I was a very young age when I
Yeah.
decided to follow Christ.
So walk me through like what, if you can remember what happened, like what made you want to make that choice even then?
So my mom would always read. Another fond memory that I just unlocked right now. Now
Mhm.
that you asked that question, she was working. I believe I forgot where she's working. Maybe I think she was working in the courts in like I'm not exactly sure what job it was, but
Mhm.
every time there was no school or if I'm off from school or wherever,
Mhm.
she would take me to work with her sometimes, or she would pick me up from work when she was at work. And there was this book stand
Yeah.
in front of where she was working, and he would sell. It's books that I've never seen before, and I kind of now that memory's unlocked, I really want to go back. When I go back home, I really want to ask if we could find it, if we even have any left. But
Mhm.
he would sell these little picture books based on Bible stories.
Yeah.
And my mom would make it her business to collect them all for me,
Yeah.
as much as she could.
Mhm.
So I had Jonah and the whale.
Yeah.
I had the story of David and Goliath. I had the story of Moses. I had the story of Abraham. I had Joseph. I had so many stories, and now that I'm talking about it's kind of emotional because it's like
Mhm.
I can't even remember me seeing that. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
now, like now, I've never
That's
seen that
crazy.
book.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
But
I
but
really want to look back.
but you know it's in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I think this is why, I feel like nowadays, sometimes these kids that are raised nowadays, aren't as locked in, because they're not. I think maybe it's my opinion, but certain parents may not take it seriously at that age. Oh, they whatever. They're gonna grow up and
Oh, for
they'll
sure.
learn it when they're 10,
They allowed them
bro.
to be kids. They
Yeah,
could be a kid. But my mom was like, no. I learned to read through the Bible. So those
yeah,
Bible
so
books,
good.
those
Yeah.
picture books, was me. I had a leapfrog, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I would read those stories, and then she would read the actual Bible to me,
Yeah.
and that's how I learned to read.
Yeah.
Like I learned to read through Bible, through
Yeah.
the Bible, through
Yeah. For
Bible
sure.
stories.
Yeah.
So knowing the Bible front to back was something that I've known
It's
for
like
many
standard. It's
years.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
It's like,
default.
yeah.
Like in my household, my mom's
Oh yeah.
household. So it was it was sort of already in me, and it was easy for me to make that decision to follow God because not only did I learn to read through the Bible, but my mother always instilled principles of the Bible before I went to sleep. She would tell me things like, you know, for God says, I know the plans I have for you, says the
Mhm.
Lord.
Yeah.
Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to
Mhm.
give you hope in the future.
Mhm.
There's the hairs on your head are numbered.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
you were in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you
Yeah. Yeah.
apart. Those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. Their
Yeah.
mind up like
Rattle
wings
them,
of it.
rattle them
Like
off, baby.
just
Rattle them off. Let's go. Yeah. Yes, sir.
like
Yes,
she
sir.
would always instill those things in me before going to sleep. And I remember in the household, my mom never had it easy, but I do remember she always made it her point to tell me and try to show me the best that she could. That not only does she love me, but there's a creator who
Is a
created
man. Is that
everything
man
that
named
that
Jesus?
that that that, that also loves me,
Is
and
that
and,
man?
and
Yeah. That boy.
and that
That
means
guy.
way more
Yeah, for sure.
than even her saying she loves
Yeah,
me. And she would
definitely.
always make it a point to be like, hey, I love you, but there's no one else in this world that will love you as much as the person who created you. You
Yeah.
know, so making that decision wasn't that hard for me at a
Mm-hmm.
young age, and it wasn't that hard for me to pay attention to church. And
Yeah.
I've always loved the things of the Lord ever since I was young.
Yeah. Same, bro. I think my mom asked me recently, like what made me keep going with the faith from teenage years in high school to now in college and to college and now I'm an adult. Like I'm like I didn't find an I didn't like what else is there to really do? Like I don't want nothing else. Like even though there's things to do, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've done my things. I've still do my things. Like, I'm still growing, but like it wasn't hard to not stay with God because like what else is around me is it's not giving me what I need besides God.
Yeah.
So like it's not hard. Oh yeah, bro. Like it's Jesus,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the goal. That's who I want to be like, who I want to strive to be like and grow with. And like, bro, I think I don't know, was it last night? Whatever night I was praying, I'm like, the mere fact I get to talk to God whenever I want to, like, yo, bro, it's how I'm feeling. Like, it's how I'm feeling. Like
that hits
bro,
different.
like you, like it's bro, like to go to him whenever you want to. Like, yo, 12 a.m. midnight. Yo, God, I'm struggling right now.
For sure.
Da, 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 da. And like when you go to him like that and you're authentic and you're real, his presence is deep, bro.
Oh,
it
yeah.
cuts deep. It's so good. So
For sure.
I never had a reason to do anything but love God because like it's nothing gives me what I need more than him.
Yeah.
So there's no other option I want to have besides him.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. I don't care about all right, do that. Nah, I'm cool. I could do that, but what I need, what I know is best for me, is that I'm following Jesus. I'm at my best when I'm with him. Can I do that stuff over there? I could do that. I could do it.
Yeah.
But if I want to be my best self, it's gotta be attached to him. If it's not with him,
Yeah.
I really don't have any interest in it. I don't want it.
For sure.
What was that moment in life where it's like, God, why? Like, why God? And I have a few. I have a few of those. Trust me. I think everyone has that moment. But like, what is that? What is that? Why God? Like God? Like why? If you want to share, it's up to you. I don't.
No. That's a very
Nuance.
that's a loaded
yeah,
question.
Yeah.
Because when you ask that question, I think of so many things where I have literally said those words like, yo, why?
Yeah.
And I talk to God just like that.
Yeah. Same.
Like, yo, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? I think the first time I've ever said, yo, why
Mm-hmm.
to God
Yeah.
was when I realized when being young is it's hard to understand these things.
Yeah, for sure.
But long story short,
Mm-hmm.
me and my family at a young age, I was an adolescent, so I was about age 10, 11, 12. So about age 10 to about 15, 16.
Okay. Yeah.
We were in the homeless shelter system.
Okay.
So we was in a shelter system in New York City
Mm-hmm.
for about 5 years.
Okay.
And I think I asked God why plenty of different times.
Mm-hmm.
Why why couldn't I keep friends?
Mm-hmm.
Why when I had friends they couldn't come over?
Mm-hmm.
Why if someone dropped me off home that I had to lie about where I lived and made them drop me off a few blocks down so that they won't see where they drove me to?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we in this facility that's mouse infested?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we why do we have no autonomy of what time we can go home or what time we can leave? Why don't we have a place to call home? I think that's one of like the first times where I truly really asked God like why, like why me, why us?
Yeah.
And it was hard and difficult to understand me being in that predicament. Fast forward years later, I got employed as a recreational associate,
Mm-hmm.
which means I was in charge. I was one of the employees in charge of making lesson plans and creating fun activities for children um, in a shelter building
Mm-hmm.
while their parents go to work. In fact, it was the exact same shelter building that I lived in years
Wow.
ago.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of full circle moments,
Mm.
and it enabled me to literally tell a kid, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people throw that or I understand. No, 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 kid.
Yeah. Like
I
I
understand.
literally understand.
I understand.
Like
My room,
I was there.
my floor was fourth floor. My family was in 426.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have an essay and a poem that's stapled to the bulletin board in the library
Yeah.
for so many years that it was still there, and I was able to point at that and be like,
Yo.
I understand.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see
crazy,
that? You
bro.
see who wrote that? That was me.
That's
So
yeah.
that was the first. That was the first actual time that I said, "Yo, God, why?" Was at a very very young age.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to deal with topics of poverty and you know temporary housing and all those great topics that politicians argue about, but they never really make great decisions for the people that actually live in those predicaments. And I
Yeah.
know that because I've lived it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was one of the first times where I said, "Yo, God, why?"
What's so post adolescent? What's your why?
Oh, post adolescent, why?
And they're all important. I wanna tackle a different. It's funny how God allows whys in our life in different seasons of our
Mhm.
life. So I love it's cool to see like what your why was at 11 and 12.
Mhm.
Now your why is this at this age. It's like so wow how God still meets you. Like God meets you in your why in every season of your life. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
want to see like the development of okay like where you, so now you're saying why at this age older, what does that why mean to you at that age? So what is your post adolescent God why?
My post adolescent God why was a couple of them in one.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, and it's still one that stays
Yeah.
is finances.
Yeah, I feel you.
When you don't have I mean it's obvious to make the conclusion that me and my family never really had the one up in life. So
Yeah.
finances has always been
A thing.
something,
Yeah.
a thing
Mhm.
that I worry or that I ask or that we argue about.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever
Yeah, for
it
sure,
may
yeah.
be, finances will always be that one thing that plagues.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a constant. Why God? When things don't work out, let's just say, lose a job, get another job, can't pay this, can't pay that, got bills stacked up, that's a why
Yeah.
that has been constant. Another why, what is also still current, is why haven't my dreams and my goals and my ambitions come to fruition?
Mm-hmm.
That is a very, very, very important. If someone were to write a biography about my life, that is just the story of my life. Wondering, waiting, working, grinding for
Mm-hmm.
this one moment or this one breakthrough or these goals that I have for myself and for my dreams
Yeah, for sure.
that still hasn't come to fruition. Like
Mhm.
that has been that, along with poverty, has been the character development in
Yeah.
my life, and
Yeah, for sure.
it still goes on. There's another why that I could think of why do I never feel enough?
Mm.
The post adolescent,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
pre-adolescent,
Mhm.
um yeah, post adolescent mostly,
Yeah.
just like feeling just not enough, like not good enough, like
Mm.
and it stems from lacking lacking in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's like it carries on to adulthood, and it's like, oh, like you always have that feeling of not being good enough, so then you always try to overcompensate
Okay.
because you don't feel
Mm.
good enough. Those are the whys that I've had post adolescent, and more so than not, has God fully delivered me or fully brought me out of those whys? No. But there has been moments where God has met me in those whys. Where
Yeah,
God
yeah.
has been like, hey, listen, let me give you a taste of what I'm continuing to do
Yeah, yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, those are some quick things that come to mind.
Yeah, man, those are loaded. I think bro, for me like why I think God is so good because like I preached at my home church recently, like the title was I Love My Thorn. The thorn in the flesh and with Paul and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And Paul, who's this great man, who loved God, who was so impactful in the world, even he's like, God, I don't want this. Like
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like this thorn I got right now on my side, this thorn, whatever it doesn't say what it was in the Bible, but whatever that was that caused Paul, this great guy, to be like, God, begged God 3 times, yo, take this away. I feel like, and then once God said to him basically like, bro, like, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? Like, my power is best when you're weak.
Woo.
So, like, think you kind of want that thorn now. Like,
Yeah,
you want
for sure.
you want to keep that thorn.
For sure.
So I think now I've learned to, okay, how do I assess what my thorn is, what my whys are, and try to use that to grow. Like, cause I'm like a very driven, like, yo, all right, bet, like I gotta just
Yeah.
get locked in and grow
Uh-huh.
and not move past, but to use certain things to my advantage to serve. So I agree. I mean, I think it's, hey, I think honestly, I believe this. I think certain whys are meant to be timeless. I don't think they're always meant to go away. Personally, I think, again, God is not a genie. People not saying you. People think, oh, well, I'm just gonna pray in my. Nah, we know, like, God is of the business of how do I help this person develop within me and grow and impact the kingdom.
Yes.
And you can't have
Yes.
impact without some security sometimes. Like, you can't, like,
Yes.
impact is live, it is derived. Yo, some of the people in the Bible, these great names we know and love, have some of the biggest insecurities and whys of all time.
Uh-huh.
Like David, Moses, Paul. Bro, mad people have these whys. And yes, God, and and most times God answers and he'll like deliver on those whys.
Yeah.
But those whys that he knows, he needs that why, because that why is gonna help him grow with me. So I'm gonna let him keep that why for now.
Yep.
Until I get you where I want you to be. So
Yep.
yeah, man, I think yeah, I mean, I've learned to try to, again, before I said I always love to be right. God, I know it's that, I know it's that guy. No, now I'm like, okay, like, what if it's not that, and what if I gotta just chill and let the whys just be. So it's a tough journey, but yeah, man, that's dope. I love talking about things that are like deep rooted in with God, because that's where
I love it.
That's where life starts.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? So music, right?
Okay.
What is the catalyst for you doing music? Whether it's singing, rapping, I don't even want to tackle both or tackle things separately or bring them together. Like, what is your driving force behind why you love music and so much, and why you're pursuing it and doing it?
That's a very
nuanced question, right?
Yeah. So, okay. I have always loved music since I could remember.
Yeah.
If you ask me my favorite genre of music, it's kind of secondary. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
I was always raised with gospel and 70s music.
Mm-hmm.
And 70s music is like sort of like the my real favorite genre.
Yeah,
like funk,
like your roots.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see that Marvin Gaye poster you have
out
there. I definitely peeped that.
My brother's that's Adams. So he lays a big Marvin Gaye, Frank Sinatra guy. Like Frank up there.
Yeah,
he loves.
I love Marvin Gaye. That album is incredible, by the way. But yeah, so Fast forward, my father was also a big rap head, but
Mm-hmm.
my relationship with my father is just not, hasn't always been there. So
Yeah.
my uncle was a big, it is, he's alive, is a
Mm-hmm.
big hip hop rap head. And I remember the first music video that my first introduction to actual hip hop. My mom didn't listen to hip hop at home.
Mm-hmm.
She listened to it when she was younger. As she got older, she didn't listen to hip hop. So
Yeah.
I didn't listen to hip hop growing up in the house, like her cleaning on Saturdays. Just
Mm-hmm.
the hip hop just
What
wasn't there.
wasn't? Yeah.
Yeah, it was gospel, it was 70s music, and then it was salsa music.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up gospel and 70s mostly, and I loved choirs.
Mm-hmm.
But my uncle was playing a music video when we had went to his house, and I remember like it was yesterday because it's one of my favorite Jay-Z songs, and it's my first true introduction to hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the introduction that made me do music per se, but it was my first introduction to the genre.
Yeah.
Period. Fast forward, I was writing poetry at about 13, 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I revisited hip hop, and I started to listen to Biggie and Wu Tang and Jay Z
Yeah.
and
Yeah. All that.
Kanye and all that good stuff, and then I was also listening to Lecrae
Mm-hmm.
and C Light
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
that was Andy Mineo's name before
Yeah.
Andy
Yeah.
Mineo C Light, and being raised in church, I was also writing poetry, and I thought, what if I could try? Since I learned that rap, originally stands for rhymes and poetry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, hey, why don't I try this thing called hip hop and try to write some lyrics? So I had a little composition notebook that I used for homework,
Mm-hmm.
and like towards like I would like flip a lot of the pages, so like the
end
last half of
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
composition book, I would start to write like little rhymes, or I would kind of train myself, and I didn't have no YouTube there to teach me what rap
It was
was,
just
how to rap.
Yeah.
All I
Yeah.
knew was that in the lamest terms, every last word had to rhyme with the last, make a
Yeah.
pair
Yeah.
of rhyming words. So I said, okay, now that I just know this foundation,
Mm-hmm.
let me just turn my poetry so that every last word rhymes with a pair.
Yeah.
And I started to do that in secret and in quiet because, I was just testing it out.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something that like I was like, I was just testing
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
out. So I would like turn my poetry and like rhyme it, the last word, and try to, whatever. But it wasn't until I was 16, 17 that I actually wrote my first actual rap,
Rap. Yeah.
and from there I fell in love with it.
Mm.
It was terrible, but it really just solidified the love for me to be able to have an outlet.
Yeah.
It was
that's
my
good.
therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It was me being able to unapologetically say whatever I want to say and not be judged for it,
Yeah. For
as
sure.
a Christian, as an individual,
Yeah.
as a
Anything.
growing man. Just
Yeah.
just say whatever on my mind, whatever was in my emotions at the time. Um uh and that's how I fell in love with it. I used to have a friend that every Sunday we would go to his house, and we would like make beats together and like
Mm-hmm.
record stuff. And my love for music just continued and continued and to continue to grow.
So, singing though, you didn't mention singing.
Yeah, so I sang in choirs in church, but
Mhm.
I never took singing seriously until I started to rap and make songs,
Mhm.
and I needed choruses, and I didn't have anybody to sing them.
Yeah.
And I knew that I, could keep a note or whatever, so I would then sing my choruses and
Yeah,
sing
yeah.
my hooks,
Mhm.
or whatever I needed to do, sing. Or let's just say I was making like a somber song and I wanted to put some music or like someone singing there. I didn't have anybody close to me that knew how to
So you
sing,
just
so
did it
I
yourself.
just
You were
did it.
vibing out.
Yeah,
I
so it
like
was
that.
just sort of like a necessity for me to be like,
Mhm.
hey, I need some singing. Let me just throw it on there.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it as well because obviously music is music, and hip hop. Although I listen to the golden era of hip hop, which is '90s, Biggie,
Yeah.
Pac, early J, Wu Tang, whatever, EPMD, Tribe Called Quest, things like that. That's golden era hip hop.
Yeah.
But our generation, I mean, I'm born in 1994, so like my generation, as far as like, the music that was catering to my generation, had singing in it already.
Yeah.
So
True,
for
true.
me, singing and
kinda
rap
came together.
was already.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
already,
by the
yeah.
time I was old enough to start, I mean, I was 14, 15.
Yeah, Drake come on the scene. He started. Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean,
it
Lil
was-
Wayne, you had
he,
808s and Heartbreaks, Kanye West, you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
T-Pain. You had all these
was normal. It was
great
normal.
artists. It was, to me, even though I started with the golden era, that was my
Catalyst.
first artist, for hip hop. But every time, I'm in the store with my mom shopping, I would hear current hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was always singing and rapping going hand in hand. So
Yeah.
for me, it was never really separated for me. It was
Okay,
like, hey, I
that-
can sing, I can rap. Well, I could kind of hold a note. I
Yeah,
could rap, kind of rap at that time,
Yeah, yeah.
So let me just try both at the same time whenever I could. So, yeah.
So, what are your top 5 hip hop artists, rappers, quote unquote, of all time? I mean, it don't gotta be in order, like 1, 2, 3, but just your top 5.
I mean, there's no particular order, but I think of Biggie, I think of Jay-Z, I think of Ghostface Killer, I think of Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah.
and I think of Nas.
Okay.
Sometimes Cole. Sometimes those things change for me,
Yeah.
but there are some like constant ones
Yeah.
that stay like that, and those are the names that I think of when
For me,
Kanye West, obviously. Kanye West. I mean, to me he's more than a rapper. So when you say top 5 rapper, top 5 artists of all time, to me,
it's Kanye.
is Kanye West.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to separate those things
so
because
ridiculous.
those things are
Different,
important to separate.
So where would you put Drake in the artist category?
Well, I'm not really a big fan of Drake, so
Oh,
I wouldn't put him.
Man.
Yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't. So you already know
what is going
whose side
on.
Whose side I take with the beef going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Cut deep. my top 5 hip hop and rap. Tough one, bro.
That's a tough question, bro.
I'm going. So, for me,
Okay.
I'm going Kanye,
Okay.
Kendrick,
Okay.
Cole. I grew up
I
on
can't
them
argue
probably
with that at
more.
all.
But they've influenced me so much.
That's a beautiful trio right there.
Kendrick is
Kendrick
Kanye
Lamar
is
is
crazy.
amazing.
Cole has been coming on more strong the past couple of years with his features.
Yeah. His
Like,
growth is incredible.
Yo,
Yeah,
like,
his growth is
like,
incredible.
before he was more like artistry, storytelling. Now he's just like, yo, I'm just gonna rap, and you're not gonna know I can rap now. Like we knew he could rap, but now he's like, yo, like I actually like I did this. It's like, like
Yeah.
I don't know what song it was. But I'm like, yo,
That he was a feature
going
on?
crazy. Yeah,
To
I
me,
don't know,
Johnny P's Caddy is like one of the greatest Cole verses of recent times.
but
With Benny the Butcher. That's
Yes.
that's an amazing
but
feature.
the other one with Lil Yachty, that song.
Oh.
Oh my gosh! It's like the burning thing. It's like a fiery.
Yeah.
Son, I would say nah, he's going crazy. So Kendrick has always been
Oh, Kendrick is.
like the heart part
Kendrick is not
5. The
human.
heart part 5.
Yeah, Hard Part 5 was incredible. He's not a human being, bro.
But in his mind, I was like,
Oh,
nah,
no. My
bro,
favorite rap
that's tough.
album of all time is To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
Also Ready to Die with Biggie, but To Pimp a Butterfly.
That one was. At first, I didn't love you. Oh my
Oof.
God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
toss and turn.
Oh,
Yo, this guy
Yo.
is crazy.
I'm telling you.
Oh, my-
Crazy.
What other song is? Oh
Crazy.
my God. No, oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Yo,
Crazy.
That song is. I forgot what song it's even called. But yeah. At first, it was that. Yeah. What else? So those 3. Then I'm gonna put Gotta put Drake. I'm putting Drake in there.
Okay.
Thing is, I think what hurts Drake, in my opinion, is that when you do it for so long at such a peak, I feel like not to me now. I'm not a big Drake fan now. I think he's
Yeah,
tailed
yeah,
off
yeah.
a good amount. But you give me Take Me Later to
So if you're reading this, is too late.
not even after that too. After the one that thing is even all of them after that one that great, but the one that came out recently, it came out in 2021.
Oh, Scorpion.
No, the pregnant woman on the cover, the pregnant woman, the pregnant emojis. You know what I'm talking about? I gotta find it.
Oh, Certified Lover Boy.
Yeah, yeah. Was
Okay,
it? Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
That one was good too. But yeah, like bro, you telling bro, Thank Me Later was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Take Care.
Nothing was the same.
Take Care was
Yeah.
bro, oh my god, Take Care was crazy.
Uh-huh.
What else? They're all I mean, yeah, Nothing the Same was crazy. Views was cool. That Views is where you saw him trying to do a little more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get a little out there, which is not. It was good album.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Drake's in there, and then for the fifth, I probably put Biggie. I love Biggie too.
Oh man, I'm a huge.
I mean, I know
Biggie
people will
fan.
say Jay-Z's the best. And I can't even say he's not. I mean, he's crazy, but like those are like my like
Yeah.
I have Jay-Z on my phone, but I just like I'm probably listening to Drake or J. Cole or Kendrick. Those are or Kanye. Those are my four I'll listen to like a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bro, this top five is tough.
It is, man.
it's
That's
tough,
like
'cause
asking
they're all-
somebody their favorite movie.
They're all great.
It's like, what's my favorite movie? Got mad movies.
Yo, so how if you can? Someone asked you, Brenden, how do you make like a rap? Like what's your? How do you make a song? Like if someone asks you how do you make a song?
I would say first you have to have something to talk about, and when I say something to talk about, I don't mean that song,
Mhm.
you know, that specific song.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I'm saying, do you truly have something to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a voice that needs to be heard in musical form?
Yeah.
A lot of people want to be a rapper. A lot of people want to be a singer because it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks cool. It's great.
It's famous.
It's famous.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like but if you don't have nothing to fall back on, as far as you don't have nothing to talk about,
Like substance.
and
Mhm.
whatever substance it can be. Listen, I don't judge. If your substance means, you know, you going to the party and clubbing all night, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's your substance.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you have to talk about.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say substance, I don't want, you know, people to be like, oh, you know, like it's no. Substance can be anything.
Yeah.
Stories. Anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't necessarily have a palette of topics or something to talk about in musical form, it's a waste of time, because everyone has something to talk about, but not everyone. You don't have to do it in musical form.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to say, if you glamorize being a rapper, you glamorize being a singer, then being a rapper or a singer is not for you.
Yeah.
Because this life is very lonely.
Mm-hmm.
This
For sure.
life,
Yeah.
this life is very hard.
Life be lifing.
It is
Quick.
It's very
In a
hard.
hurry too.
Yeah, I mean, you don't just make a song and it blows up. You know,
Mhm.
like in my case, I'm gonna be 30.
Yeah.
You know, well, by the time this comes out, I'm 30.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I've been rapping since 16, 17. Like, that is a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I can create a song in 30 minutes now as far as songwriting, but like, it is exhausting to work for goals and work for
Mm-hmm.
for what you want in this life, and you hear no, or you hear this, or, you know, many different things. So, you know, first I would even tell somebody, like, just forget the rap, forget the song. Like, is this something that you will truly love? Now, if you say yes, then that's the hard part, right?
Mm-hmm.
The easy part is learning how to rap. You know, there's foundations. You know, just follow a beat, be rhythmic with it, and try to say things that's catchy or rhyme. But those things happen over time. You know, like when I first started rapping, I just knew that I wanted to create the poems that I already had,
Mm-hmm.
meaning I had things that I wanted to get out of my chest.
Yeah.
And what I did was I just did what I knew how to do, rhyme it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And you just do repetition, repetition, and you're consistent with it, and then you start to learn pockets, you start to learn cadence, you start to learn delivery and
Yeah,
flow
yeah,
and
yeah.
lyricism and spacing and arranging, and
Yeah, for
all
sure.
those things just come by doing it.
Yeah.
But to start off with the song, I would say just start with something to talk about. Write a paragraph of what you want to talk about. Try to rap it or sing it on beat,
Mm-hmm.
on key, and make it rhyme.
Yeah.
And that's how I would say, no pressure. I teach rapping and I teach
Mm-hmm.
production in my day job as well, and I try to tell my students, no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Just what do you want to talk about in the song? Just write a paragraph
Yeah.
and just say it on beat, sing it
Mhm.
on beat. The rest will come after.
Yeah.
Don't sweat those small stuff right now. Just get your stuff out.
Yeah.
Just get it out, and the rest of it will follow. And if you truly love this, then you will see it through
For sure.
until the rest follows.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so
100%.
that will be like my first advice for like
Mhm.
writing a song 101.
Yeah.
That would be my TED Talk.
Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
So what you mentioned goals before. So what are your goals? Like, give me like your like in general, because I'm gonna ask you what your goals are for the year later on. But
Mhm.
what are your like? You said no dreams. Like, what are your like those like 2 or 3 dreams you like? I want that. I gotta have that.
When I was younger, I thought by 28 I was gonna be the biggest artist in the world.
Okay.
You know, and I wanted I wanted the fame, and I wanted to be the biggest artist in the world, not because of the fame, but because I believe that I have a voice, and I wanted the influence that comes with it, and I wanted to I wanted to be a light in the
Yeah.
music industry.
Mhm.
If you ask me the same thing now, I really don't care about being the biggest artist in the world.
Mhm.
My dream is to be able to sustain myself yearly, come extremely comfortably. So whatever number that looks like, to me it looks like over 6 figures. It looks like having a 6-figure income,
Yeah.
doing what I love to do,
Mhm.
having people coming to shows,
Yeah.
you know, being able to sustain myself and my family through my artistry.
Mhm.
That would be one dream.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily am chasing the biggest single.
Yeah.
I'm just chasing being able to sustain myself and be happy and financially stable
Yeah.
with music. Another dream of mine is to have my label be pushed and be responsible for other acts, and be responsible for
So I didn't know that. So what is your label called?
Realist Sound Entertainment.
Realist Sound Entertainment. Is it you have a gram for that? Instagram?
Yeah,
All right,
it's
let me follow
Realist
you.
Sound ENT.
I didn't know.
It's a production company and a label, and my dream is to also help other artists and other creatives.
Realist Sound ENT. Bet I'll follow right now.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, my other dream is to the dream that I have, to help others have that dream.
Yeah.
To sustain themselves financially in the music industry. Another dream of mine is to use music as a way to gain influence, to then pivot into other areas of
Yeah.
of society.
Mhm.
One being government, one being
Dope.
politics.
For sure.
Especially in New York City, because I love my city
Mhm.
and I want to make it better. Another one would be to infiltrate the nonprofit organizations aspect of New York City, and
Yeah.
just nationwide. There are a lot of children, a lot of students, a lot of young people just like me, raised in similar predicaments, who will never ever ever have a chance in life to
Mhm.
pursue their goals and their dreams. And another dream of mine is to help that be
That come
realized.
to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that. I think, your visions about impact, are very, very evident. And I think, you know, I think impact culture is definitely not very evident. People want the money, they want the clicks, they want the followers, but impact is where it's really at. Because
Mhm.
someone can have whatever amount of followers, but have impact across the board for people who have all the followers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think even with this, I've learned obviously I want more. I want following. I want to grow. I want it to be as good as it can be. And
Yes.
Whatever God sees for this being.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I can get 5 people saying, "Yo, like, I've grown from listening to you," that's impact. That's like is and I'll be damned if that's not enough for me and for what God wants from this.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I've kind of grown past like the whatever, and I realized, bro, like I realized at first, I want us to blow up. Honestly, I'm not ready for it to blow up. I'm really not. Like I would love, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So this is, and I want to grow. I want it to grow for sure. But I think God always has, again, a way of doing things that's always best for you.
That's right.
It's like he's like, and I always like God, it's taking that long, this and that, or I want this and that. But I realized that I always wanted things, but now I'm like, well, can I even handle that? What I want? Can I even handle it?
Yeah.
Like, right now I probably couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it blowing up. I couldn't do it. It'd be dope.
Yeah.
It'd be great. You know what I'm saying? It'd be cool. And I believe if or when it does, quote unquote, blow up, I'll be prepared to handle that, because none's worse, bro. Man, in the Bible, bro, Israel, God brought them out of Egypt, through Moses and all this stuff, and they were on the way to the promised land, and God had all this stuff for them, and yet they still couldn't trust him.
Yep. God
had it waiting for them. But even with God calling them out of where they were at, they couldn't even receive it, because they weren't mature enough. So it took them 1,000 years to get to where because they weren't ready for it. So I'd rather, like, I'd rather just, hey God, what can I get out of this? Like, I've learned today, how do I get the most out of this? How do I honor God the most with this? I'm gonna learn that more, because man, it's tough, man. I would love to be doing this full time, bro. I would, boy. I mean, I love my career. It's dope. It's great, but if I could, do this in ministry, I'd do that. I wouldn't even do my regular, not regular, that's a bad word, my career job. I love it. What I'm saying? I would still be involved in it in some way, but I definitely feel like, this in ministry is like, that's where the impact is at. So, yeah, man, I think impact is the real bag. And, I feel like, God always honors what's honorable.
Yeah. Impact is crazy. I mean, when you said that, I think of one of the most impactful rappers that recently passed. And if I say it, some people may not even know who it is, but MF Doom.
Yeah.
MF Doom didn't have the followers or even the money that some of the biggest artists in the world. But the biggest artists in the world are impacted by MF Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And when he died, it was a big
impact.
hole in the music industry and hip hop in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Impact over fame any day, bro.
Yeah.
Any day, bro. Keep that. I want the impact, and I want the money to be able to sustain myself and the people that I love. That's all that matters, to be honest, at this time. It's crazy how our wants and desires not necessarily change, but they mold into much better. What am I gonna do? The biggest artist in the world, like whatever, like that. Yeah. That's cool and all, but it's not. That doesn't bring change. It doesn't bring anything to me. It's just, and everyone can be the biggest artist in the world for a month or 2 months. Like, those things pass away.
For sure.
It's like, but things that don't pass away is the content, the substance, the impact that you create and you put out into this world. That's what truly, truly matters.
Yeah, bro. I agree. What do you think, as a young Christian man, what do you think is, like, not a main struggle, but, like, what do you think is, like, people want to know how to grow in at our age? So I'm 27. Well, I'll be 27 this year, but so we're similar age bracket.
Yeah.
What's like that thing where, like, 'cause I mean, I guess the easy one is probably like sex, but like, Like, what do you think is like that thing that you're like people need to know what this looks like and how to grow with this and go through it because we're all going through something in similar ways either way.
Yeah, I think, as a growing believer, as a man
Mm-hmm.
who is a believer, I think that one of the things that we need to grow in, or one of the things that we struggle with, or that I struggle with,
Mm-hmm.
that I have recently been what's the word, nurtured and into being a better person, is my anger,
Okay.
my ability to express how I feel and think
Mm-hmm.
in a healthy way. I think that as men, as most men in society, we are trained to be stone cold.
Yeah.
We are trained to
Not have bad days.
not have bad days. We are trained to not cry.
Mm-hmm.
We are trained to always have it all together. And that is completely false.
Yeah.
And what it has done, it has created an entire generation of men who have difficulty regulating how they feel.
That's good. Yeah.
And growing up, I'm not gonna lie, growing up, I have bashed therapy,
Mm-hmm.
just because it just
Yeah.
therapy was that,
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
that's
I agree.
for crazy
I
people,
feel you. Yeah,
like,
I feel, yeah,
like,
bro. Yeah,
I
for
ain't
sure.
bipolar,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no disrespect to anyone who deals with
Yeah,
bipolar
yeah,
or
but
any
that's the
mental illness,
stigma
but that's the
around it.
stigma around it,
100%. Yeah.
And it wasn't until my adult years that I learned, like, hey man, like, especially you,
Mm-hmm.
as a black man, a man of color,
Mm-hmm.
especially you,
Yeah.
you need an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And music is an outlet, and it has carried me throughout this time, all my years.
Mm-hmm.
And it will continue to do it. But at the same time, as a man, we need to learn how to regulate. We need to learn how to
Yeah, that's good.
communicate how
Mhm.
we feel,
Yeah.
and not be afraid to do those things. And I think all men need to hear this, not even just Christian men.
All men.
And all men, but I think specifically Christian men, because a lot of times we think that, and let me say this carefully because I don't want it to be taken wrong. Prayer and fasting does do miracles. Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But a lot of Christian men get into this mind state of, oh, I'm gonna pray and fast, and my lust and my anger and
Mm-hmm.
me not being able to control my emotions is gonna be gone.
Yeah,
That is a lie from the enemy.
Yeah. It's a lie.
That is a very calculated, intelligent lie that the enemy has put in us.
Yeah.
That we could just read the Bible, pray, fast, and that's it. We're done. That is so not true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely false. That is a lie of the devil.
Yeah.
Because if we do not look inward and
Yeah.
either speak to someone, a human, or learn how to regulate our emotions, we will be stuck in the same cycles over and over again. It doesn't matter how hard you pray. It don't matter how hard you fast.
Yeah.
Jesus prayed till he had blood coming out of that man's pores.
Yeah.
Did God change his mind? No, he did not.
Yeah.
Was he still unfulfilled and unsatisfied and depressed and angry and sad throughout that whole time? Yes, he absolutely was. And that is the Son of Man.
Yeah.
So what do you think that
needed someone
prayer
to,
is just going to fit? No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Prayer changes things. But
Yeah.
in order to change yourself, you have to work.
Yeah.
That's why God says faith without
works.
is dead.
Yeah, and I think funny because, like, I think, man, like, prayer deserves action.
Yes.
And it's, what we're saying is true, and because, bro, and people who are older be like, oh, what are you saying? Bro, like,
we're not
I'm not, we're not bashing, no.
bashing
way.
prayer.
But
that is not what we're doing.
The same, what you're saying is this, right? Basically, what you're saying is this. There's a test in school that you have not studied for. God, please help me get 100 on this test. Please, I prayed and I fasted. God,
speaking in tongues.
Hear my prayers, even though I did not study for this test.
You know how many times I did that?
Yo, people on wherever you listen to this. I don't care how much you pray for that test to get 100 on that test.
You're not getting it.
If you did not put the work in
That's
and
right.
study, you're failing that test.
That's right.
Because God is not some genie.
Speak that.
And bro, me too. Like bro, my whole life I had different things. I was overthinking a lot, anxiety issues. I'm gonna say issues, but things I've kind of gone through, more towards dating and love and being hurt and all that stuff. And then I was praying through it, and some of the same things kept happening, same cycles of my thoughts. And one day with last 2023 spring, something happened, and that was like the last straw for me. Yo, I gotta grow. Like not saying prayer is not getting prayer is great, but there's with that, bro. Even like my career, I'm an athletic trainer, so I deal with sports and athletes, and they're always, oh my god, like. Do I just ice it? I'm like, no, you don't just ice it. Ice is cool. It's good. It helps a lot for certain things. But any one thing alone is not going to help. Like, prayer is great. It's prayer, fasting, reading the word. That's like 95% of where we're going to go with this.
But
then
that 5%,
that extra,
that
like
5.
that therapy, that talking to wise counsel, like, yes, like, again, the umbrella of it all is under prayer, word, and fasting. And within that, okay, like, how do I now apply? Application is what the issue is. It's not praying, it's not fasting, it's not the word. Is that we've grown and heard to do these things without application. How do I cool, I'm reading it. How do I use it? How do I use this?
You took that out of my mind. Application is key.
You gotta apply it.
If you don't apply it, you didn't learn it.
Bro.
It don't matter how many times you read it. It don't matter how many times I recite. And this was another story of my life. It doesn't matter how much I recite. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, to give you hope in the future, not to harm you. It doesn't matter how many times I memorize that. Jeremiah 29:11. I could say it till I'm blue.
Yeah.
If I don't actually get the concept of God knowing the plans he has for me. It's like we read a scripture so much. And it's like until we really sit down and digest it, it's like, wow, like I got it, but I didn't get it. You have to apply these things. It's just why so many people, even if you think about, hey, why am I failing algebra so much? Why am I failing algebra so much? Have you applied the PEMDAS rule? Have you applied... What goes to the left goes to the right. Oh, I'm having problems with factors. Have you applied the lowest common denominator rule? Have you applied what you do to the bottom, you do to the top? Have you applied these things? Because if you don't, you're not gonna get it. You're just not. You're I don't get it. Because even now, and even when in my fitness journey, my weight loss journey, I can't sit down and have a double cheeseburger and then complain why my workout is not going well or why I feel like doodle. It's cool, you're working out and all, but you have to apply these health, these health and wellness techniques and things that is good for your body, or else you're only gonna be half good. You won't reach your full potential without applying these things that you need to apply in your life.
And bro, and people I think it's such a. Again, growing up in church, we were always told scripture, which again, we need that. That's what it's about. We're told these things, but we're given no process to these things.
Yes.
Don't have sex. That's cool. I get it, and that's yes, I agree. But what do I like? How do I deal with that?
What are the tools?
Bro, how do I deal with not having sex before? Yes, I know I can't do it. But how do I deal with that? And yes, the word is there, that prayer is there, and that stuff helps so much. But within that, you also need that bro, going to say things how do you do it? Boom, boom, boom. therapist, wise counsel. Like, bro, like God gives us specific avenues to help us.
Yeah.
Based on His word as well.
I mean, that's why community is so important.
Yeah, bro.
If it wasn't, we could just be in the closet all day praying to God, and we'd be perfect people.
And
but God makes sure that fellowship and community is important.
Yeah.
Because we learn from each other.
Yeah, bro.
Again, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah,
like these biblical scriptures, these concepts are meant for us to apply them, not to just like learn them and like memorize them. Like, oh, we're good now. That's. It's like I think a lot of men need to hear that.
There are things, so, in my career, I've had to learn all the book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Book stuff, muscles, tendons, movements, insertions, all this stuff and different injuries or whatever. It's funny because I didn't always do well with like that, but when I'm on the field doing it, I excelled. Mm-hmm. And like, bro, okay, you can know all the book stuff, which is great. But if you can't apply it in action, there's no point, bro. I can read all the Bible I want, but if I can't actually use that and apply it to my life and use that every day and really use it, if I can apply it, like, what use is me knowing the word if I can apply it? You can, bro, even the enemy, the devil knows the Bible.
More than us.
The devil knows the Bible.
He was there when it was created.
Yeah, he knows it. He also knows how to use it against you too.
Yes, he does.
And people are so naive to think, oh, well, no, like, got him. There it is. He don't think, no, you need, again, 95% of it is always going to be the word and prayer and fasting and all these things that we know how to do. But that 5% extra that goes along with that, that's what takes you to the other level.
That saves your life.
It saved, bro. Therapy saved I'd say it's honestly, it saved my life in a sense that my thought patterns, my whole, like, my patterns of thinking, my things that I let in. Honestly, I didn't know what it meant to bring thoughts captive to God until therapy.
Woo!
That's wild. That's wild. I didn't know. Oh, bring thoughts captive to God. It's in Matthew. Oh, we love it. It's great.
I didn't learn that. I didn't really get it till therapy either.
I didn't know, like, and bro, like, and I realized too that all this stuff, it takes work, bro. And bro, I think I preached that Misfit one time. My subject was "Don't worry, just work." Because Paul was in prison writing to Philippi. He was in prison, but he was working, bro. He wasn't just praying, God, get me out of this, please. I love you. No, he literally he worked. He wrote in the midst of his struggle. He wrote one of the most popular books in the whole Bible. He worked through it. He didn't just say, "God, I love you, I'm fasting." No, like, that's not a bad thing, I guess. But it's like, bro, like, in order to really get this, to get it, you gotta work. You gotta add more to what God has already given you.
Crazy.
The Bible is the standard. Fasting is that is the basic standards. But within that are things that we can use to apply that more, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And application, bro, it's
super.
I didn't learn it until therapy.
When you said the every thought captive is crazy because it's
bro.
Like the Bible literally says, hold every thought captive to God. That's basically like, as soon as I get a thought, it's basically in jail until proven that this thought is gonna help me in life.
Is it truth or is it a lie?
Is it true? It's like, as soon as the thought enter in, boom, like, they don't like you. Nah, that thought is being put in jail, and we gonna see if this is really true or not. Like, that's crazy. That has helped me so much with, like, self-worth,
bro,
and not feeling enough, and imposter syndrome, which by the way, I feel it all the time doing worship and serving, rapping,
same, bro.
and even
same,
out of
bro.
church. Like, I deal with a lot, bro. Like, and I have imposter syndrome because of where God has me.
Yeah.
Where God has me in my music and where God has me in church. And sometimes they are like, it's like very different. But
so look, I think with that too is like, that's kind of like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Because you can't be an imposter if you're where God has you. You know what I'm saying? That's where I think I've learned, like how can I think, I don't know when it was, I was talking to Bianca about something, and she was like, how can you say this, but then say that you're where God wants you to be? That doesn't, you can't like. For me, what I learned is that I have to stop even I gotta stop infusing doubt
Mm.
in saying, well, God has me here, but can't
There
like
is no but.
you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
attach God to but
God has you here. That's it.
that's it.
Period.
Okay, like it can't
Yeah,
be
yeah.
but last time I sung here, that's not
God has you here.
that can't
That's
work.
it.
So I think, bro, yeah, it's a tough thing. But yeah, man, it's a very nuanced journey. But yeah, bro, it's I'm trying to just keep it simple because the devil makes things very complicated, quick,
Yes,
like
he does.
fast, bro.
Yes, he
Good.
does.
Like fast. And I'm like, bro, like, yeah, man, I try to keep it simple, and it's hard, like, bro. Singing and worship now, I love it. It's not something I'm used to doing, so I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't love it that much, but I do love help leading the teens. That's what I love to do.
Yeah.
So
You
I'm
do
like,
a great job at it too,
thank
man.
you, bro. I appreciate you, man.
For sure. For
And it's
sure.
like, man, like, I don't love leading worship. It's not my thing, but this is what I'm talking about Bianca. And I was like, well, this is what God has me. She said, "Then how can you say you don't like it then?"
Mm.
I was like, And she be right a lot, and I don't like when she right. She be giving me trouble with that. She be right a lot. I'd be like, all right, bro, whatever. You're right. But like, bro, it's like, how can I say I'm not this? I can do this. Then also say, but God has me here. That's not. It's not. They don't mix, bro.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I think we all kind of go through that, man. So, what are your like top 3 main goals for this year?
So, top 3 main goals is to grow my company.
Mm-hmm.
I have an education sector, and I also have the creative music sector.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to grow both of those.
Yeah.
Another goal is to be better than I was last year, as far as being a better communicator.
Yeah.
And another goal of mine is to not allow the thoughts of others, but more important, my own thoughts,
Yeah.
get into the way of what God is doing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those are my goals, man.
Your goals.
Financial and inward. Those are my 2 focuses.
So back to application. What can you do to, I guess, like actively like apply those things to like a daily practice to work towards that? Like, is there like, it's like a certain like process that you use to get to that point to where you want to be, or?
I think just continue doing therapy.
Okay.
Continue to write music that speaks to me, because
Mm-hmm.
that also helps at the same time, and continue to engage in community.
Yeah.
I think those
Yeah,
are the
it's
things
so
that's
good,
gonna
bro.
help me.
That's super underrated. People underrate community so much, bro. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, I don't need it, man. You do. Like,
Oh, man.
you need that
You do
that.
more than you think, man. Because those days when you got it the hardest,
You
and
need
you're
that.
able to distract yourself with sound-minded people around you,
Mhm.
ooh,
It's
that
dope.
works wonders,
Yeah,
man. That
wonders,
gives you
bro.
that extra, like, it's like,
That
yeah,
push.
I could get through the day.
Yeah.
I could get through the day. You know,
That's so tough, bro.
yeah, that's underrated for sure. For sure.
So, any questions for me? Before we kind of round it out, anything you've asked? If you don't
Yeah.
have any, that's fine. But I always ask guests, anything for me before we kind of end it off.
No, man. What are your goals for this year?
Like goals for the year.
Yeah.
Whew. Keep doing this. I think being consistent every month, every week.
Mm-hmm.
Being intentional
Mm-hmm.
about this, still growing through my anxiety about different things and therapy. And again, I'm like 95% there.
Yeah.
But sometimes that 5% feels heavier than times before. So I gotta work through certain things. But yeah, man, therapy. Again, bro, my main thing, bro, 1 is always God. 2 is being accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else doesn't matter. That's my order of life is God, accountability. When those 2 are at the top and I'm doing my best in those 2 areas, God and being accountable to myself, to God, to my
And
emotions, to my
everything
thoughts.
else follows.
That's it.
Yeah.
This will be good. Girl will be good. Life will be, it's fine. Like
Mhm.
church, it all works out once I continue to be with God every day and be accountable to myself, to Him, to my thoughts, to my word, to my prayer, to my communities, to
Yeah.
my serving, to
Yeah.
it's just those are my 2 main things. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
accountability is a big thing, man.
Yeah, bro, it's so huge.
That's something I'm also continuing to work on. You know, being accountable for
Mm-hmm.
and being a good steward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Being accountable and a good steward, man.
yeah,
I want to be. I want to be a better man.
for sure. Same, bro.
And
My goal is how can I be a healthier version of myself every day.
yeah, for
Not
sure.
not perfect, not saying I won't have bad days, but there are ways to have bad days in a healthy way. And I think I've not always done that sometimes.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to, it's not a back end. Again, having, men aren't allowed to have bad days. Kind of, I feel like me, I can't have a bad day. I feel like sometimes, but I think having a bad day, but in a healthy way. There's always a healthy way in anything you do.
yeah, for sure.
Even if it's not the best thing, there's still a healthy route.
Yeah,
Even McDonald's has a healthy option.
most definitely.
So like there's always ways to be healthy, even if it's
Yeah.
not always the best option. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. So just the podcast,
Say that.
growing, serving that misfit. You know what I'm saying? Keep growing with Bianca. Lord willing, man, and family. Obviously my mom lives down south now, but seeing her and being accountable for them and loving them more and just growing again. But that's all I want to do, man. Just get better and grow. So but yo, this is up there in my top favorites because I feel like again, honestly, don't tell nobody, but they might not see it, but I love doing the things that aren't always about God. People have their own things, they're not always Christians, but
Yeah.
this is I anything about God and things purely and growth and stories and testimonies and sharing the gospel, man. Like that's the crevice of what this was built on.
Yeah.
This is not built on anything but Jesus, and it will always be that. You know what I'm saying? So even when I have guests on that, if God's not butt up, don't be like, oh, he's not. No, it's just sometimes,
Yeah.
people have other stories about things that go into life, and it's not always necessarily about that. But when I have guests on, who I know I can go that route with, I'm gonna go that route. All the time.
I love that.
Because this was built off that route, and I will continue to build it off that. So yeah, man, bro,
Yo.
been a pleasure, bro. We got a link.
Thank
Get this
you.
link soon, bro. Some more
Yes.
stuff, but yo, episode 44 is in the books. My boy Brenden came through. Love y'all. Peace.
Yeah.